Today started as any other morning. My alarm chimed from my wrist, triggering the opening of my blinds and the cooling of my bed temperature to make sure I really woke up. While changing out of my sleep clothes, I heard my coffee machine humming in the next room. According to my wrist implant, I slept well last night, so the brew probably wouldn't be that strong. I changed into my work clothes, neatly presented on my dresser. I walked out my door at 8:15, prompting a notification along the bottom of my vision that the next train I could catch would be arriving at 8:32, calculated through the average 12 minutes it takes me to walk to the station. At work, I greeted several of my coworkers on my way to my desk. Many of them were occupied, though, seated on plush chairs in the common area, eyes glazed as they scrolled through news and notifications before our 9 o'clock start. I wouldn't say my work is exciting, but it pays fairly and is one of the few choices we have left in the fourth era. There are nearly countless digital services in our area, requiring constant maintenance and teaching to ensure they run smoothly. Throughout my day, I will complete a variety of tasks in order to teach and calibrate the many machines we have in our city. Most of it is tedious, like scrolling through images to optimize when our streetlights turn on, or helping cars identify newly installed street signs. One day I got to use the voice booth to give a sample of my word pronunciations for our speaking map and assisted living technologies. Even though work can be boring, it's hard to complain when we make a living wage and get to use such digital services on a daily basis. And with the promise of a fully automated luxury lifestyle on the horizon, I don't mind doing my part to make it a reality. Throughout our day, we are monitored. I know our wrist implants track our location to ensure efficiency at work and safety in the community, or so we are told. I don't know who receives this information, or if anyone even looks at it at all. I can't help but think that my lifestyle doesn't matter much in the grand scheme of things. Regardless, the program seems to keep everyone safer and has prevented nearly all crimes. I grew up in the fourth era, so by the time my generation came around, nearly everyone just accepted this surveillance and didn't seem to push back against it anymore. Or so the news tells us. I heard the program was tough to implement at first, but that was decades ago. Now the cameras seem to make everyone behave better. During our lunch break at work, we receive recreation time. My company's rec room is impressive, with video game machines spanning from wall to wall. My coworkers usually swarm those, but others prefer to sit and access virtual reality games through their iris implants. I used to count down the hours to our recess, but lately I can't find the urge. The games are largely automated, so what's the point if you always win? Leaderboards are a thing of the past. Some games have more of an arc, but lately it feels too much like work to me. We also have the option to use cycling machines, but most other physical games were banned to reduce risk of injury. Lately, the highlight of my day has instead been right after work when I meet my coworker Maria in our company quad. Last week, we found a small patch of grass and wall in the back corner between two cameras. Of course, there are probably other hidden cameras in the area, but so far we haven't had any reason to believe we were doing something wrong. Once we get there, Maria pulls something out of her work bag. It's a small sphere that we covered in rubber bands. It's a ball. Though it doesn't look like much, we've made all kinds of games out of it. Sometimes we bounce it to each other or just throw it back and forth. Today we decided to throw it against the wall, trying to catch it as it ricochets off. I've gotten pretty good at catching it, but sometimes I still miss. I wind my arm back to release it, enjoying the sensation of motion and control. The ball hits an uneven section of wall and tumbles low, but Maria dives to catch it. We pass an hour or so like this, sometimes catching it, sometimes just out of reach. As we leave our hidden court with sweat on our foreheads, I look to the skyline and see a familiar billboard on the horizon. I see it every day on my way home, and there are dozens like it. It says, "Luxury tomorrow, work today." My wrist chimed, automatically alerting me of the next train arriving home, but I instead look to the rubber band ball in my hand and smile.